Cedar Sink is a must-do hike. I can't believe there's nobody else here. We're literally the only people, but it's just beautiful. Like, look at these rocks behind me. And there's birds chirping, there's butterflies flying everywhere. If you come to Mammoth Cave, definitely do Cedar Sink hike. It's really easy too. It's like, I think 3/4 of a mile down and then 3/4 of a mile back. So super easy hike, but super beautiful. Check this out. Found an entrance to the cave. It's literally like 15 degrees cooler. You can feel the coldness coming out of the cave. They have it barred off because you're not supposed to go in the cave without a tour guide. But it's pretty cool though. Had to climb up a ways to get here. There's Donna down here. Way down there.
Hello! Hello.
She decided she wanted to climb up too.
Okay.
Grab the rocks. You can grab this thing too.
Cool.
See how cold it is?
Yeah. So creepy. I made it.
Look at this view out. Extremely slick and wet. So we're coming down on our butt. Getting real muddy, but it works. That's where we were. Right up there. Got a little muddy.
Flower. We've been seeing these since South Carolina. We've been seeing these flowers on the ground.
If anyone knows what they are, comment below. They're really pretty though. After hiking, it was now time to check in for our cave tour. As we made our way towards the cave entrance, we felt the air around us begin to cool, telling us we were approaching a hidden world. The cave acts as a natural insulator and therefore remains at a constant 54 degrees Fahrenheit year-round. We chose to do the 2-hour historic tour mainly because that was the only tour that wasn't sold out, so learn from us and book your tour ahead of time. Honestly though, we really enjoyed this tour and would highly recommend it if you are visiting. The tour took us throughout 2 miles of the cave while teaching us about its long history. We really enjoyed the variety of natural structures seen throughout the tour, such as this huge open room known as the Rotunda, this tiny narrow passage known as Fat Man's Misery, the famous bottomless pit, and the awe-inspiring Butterscotch Falls. Parts of the tour do require ducking under short ceilings and squeezing past narrow passages, so keep this in mind when booking. We recommend to take this tour yourself, so we won't give away all the information, but here's a few of our favorite things we've learned. Mammoth Caves is the longest cave system in the world. Currently over 400 miles of it have been surveyed, but it is estimated that there's 600 miles yet to be explored. Mammoth Cave began forming around 10 million years ago. However, it wasn't discovered by humans until around 5,000 years ago when the first Native Americans began to explore it. These Native Americans explored and mined the upper levels of the cave for the next 200 years. In the 1800s, the cave was mainly used to mine saltpeter, which was used to make gunpowder during the War of 1812. Sadly, it was primarily mined using slave labor. Writings on the cave wall during the 1800s can still be seen today. After the war ended, the cave was purchased for $5,000 and was transitioned into a tourist attraction. African American slaves were the very first cave tour guides, with the most well-known being Stephen Bishop. Bishop was a pioneer in discovering and mapping out new sections of the cave. The very first map of the cave, which was used for decades, was created by him from memory, and the cave's popularity was mainly due to his influence. Well over 100 species of animals inhabit Mammoth Caves, such as eyeless cavefish. Bats are also very common, although their numbers have been decreasing due to white nose syndrome, a fungus that is highly contagious to bats. When leaving the cave, it is required to clean your shoes in order to not spread the fungus elsewhere. Overall, we had an incredible time exploring Mammoth Cave, and the videos truly do not do it justice, which is why we would definitely recommend to visit this natural wonder in person if you get the chance. Alright, we are back in the van. Mammoth Cave was amazing. I really didn't know what to expect going into it. I just knew it was a cave, but that was about it. But it was just way bigger than I imagined, and it was cool that they had like hiking and like nature stuff as well in addition to the cave. So I highly recommend it. I had a great time. How about you?
I remember it was on my list because I worked as a dental hygienist, and I would ask my patients, where would they recommend going? And I had a patient recommend Mammoth Cave. He said, you got to go see the caves in Kentucky. I'm like, caves? I had no idea there was caves in Kentucky. When I think of Kentucky, I think of Kentucky Fried Chicken. I mean, I don't know what's in Kentucky. So when I knew we were going to be driving through Kentucky, I knew I wanted to check out these Mammoth Caves. And they're mammoth because they're humongous.
Huge.
It's one of the longest caves in the world. I think it is
the longest.
The longest cave in the world. And I loved it. I enjoyed the cave, going through the historical tour of the cave. The tour guide, he did an amazing job. And we learned geology. We learned about history. So there was a lot of learning opportunities, and not just that, but just a wondrous environment and just the amazing opportunity to experience it.
Do you remember what patient told you about that?
Well, if I did, I wouldn't say because of HIPAA.
Well, shout out to that patient. Thank you. Good suggestion. But yeah, we're back in the van. After we left the caves, we went to shower at Planet Fitness because we were really stinky and sweaty.
You were stinky.
Oh, you weren't?
You don't refer to me as stinky, actually.
Then we went to get food. We went to Blaze Pizza. Just because there was one like 5 minutes from the Planet Fitness, and we love Blaze. So good. They have really good vegan pizza, and it's like a Chipotle, but for pizza. You can customize it, get whatever you want. If you haven't been to Blaze, you're missing out. And then we came to our campsite for the night. Our campsite. We're staying at a storage unit. What we found on Boondocker's Welcome. It's an app that lets you find free places to park, and it's pretty nice. Just we're close to the highway, so you can hear a lot of traffic driving by, but it's behind a gated area, so we feel very safe and secure, so that's a plus. But yeah, that I think brings our week 1 to an end. We have officially been traveling and living in the van full time for 1 whole week now. So I wanted to do a week 1 final statistics recap. So in week 1, we drove a total of, I got this prepared, We drove a total of 1,211 miles. That took us through 6 states: Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Kentucky. Amongst that, we also went to 2 national parks, which was Great Smoky Mountain National Park, as well as Mammoth Cave. We spent $287.32 on gas. So yeah, it wasn't cheap, but honestly, I was kind of expecting me more. I feel like that's not too bad considering how far we've gone.
And it's diesel.
Yeah. Let's see, what else? We stopped at 6 different Planet Fitnesses. As you know, we use Planet Fitness to both shower and work out. We stayed at 2 Cracker Barrels, 1 Harvest Host location at a bar, 2 Boondockers Welcome, which is one we're doing tonight, and 3 National Park campsites. So we stayed at a variety of different places. And yeah, that's our statistics for week 1. It was a good week.
We did a lot.
We did do a lot. It was a very busy week. I do want to talk about, I think this would be good to do at the end of each week to kind of document our favorite thing and least favorite thing of van life so far that we've done this week. You want to go first? What's your favorite?
My favorite is seeing and experiencing and meeting so much. Seeing new places, meeting new people, experiencing new things.
That's like everything. That's like 3
Oh, you want
things.
something specific?
Yeah, something specific. What was your favorite thing?
That's tough. I gotta think on that.
I'll go then in the meantime. My favorite thing, it is tough because there's a lot we did, but my favorite thing was going to Cades Cove in Smoky Mountains. One, it's just a really pretty drive, and I loved all the history of the old buildings. But the main thing is we got to see a bear, which was awesome, in his natural habitat, and it was so cool. We got a lot of good photos, a lot of good videos. So Cades Cove was my favorite thing we did.
Mine was the hike we did. The last day in Tennessee.
In the Smokies?
Yes, it's a Great Smoky
the
Mountains.
the alum cave hike. I almost said that, honestly. That was really cool.
Because we got to videograph and see so many plants, and we just saw so many details on our trail.
Yeah.
Waterfalls, and got to take video of it and take pictures of it all. I felt like a little kid just looking at everything and paying attention to the details. Like most people were just walking by us, and I'd be like, "Ooh, look at this flower, and look at this bug," and Mark would be excited, and I would be excited, like, "Oh, let's take a video of it."
There's so much beauty in the little things. I feel like most people just walk past and they're just like, all right, let's get to the cave at the end, which was cool. But like along the way, they pass by all these little things, like just the water flowing and the spider webs and the water droplets on the leaves, and like there's so much beauty in those little things as well. Yeah, that was a beautiful hike, and it was rainy that day, but it gave it a really cool ambiance and vibe and mood, and I almost said that. That was a lot of fun.
And that's what makes the Smoky Mountains smoky, is the hydrocarbons from the vegetation. It gives it that smoky blue haze.
Mm-hmm.
So it almost feels like you're in a rainforest.
Yeah, for sure. All right, least favorite thing about week 1 of van life?
Definitely the cramped space in the van.
It
makes it harder to do everything.
It's tight.
Even the smallest chores. Like making the bed, it took you, 8 minutes to make the bed the other day?
Yeah, it was a challenge. It was a struggle. And like every night, because we're so tight on space, like during the day when we're driving and like active, we like use our bed for storage. So we put stuff on our bed And then at night, obviously we got to clear it off. So then we like put all that in the front seats. And so like every morning and every night we're like constantly moving stuff back and forth. So yeah, it's tight. It's a struggle. But it gives us this freedom, you know? My least favorite thing was emptying the pee tanks, our pee containers. It's stinky and nasty and dirty, and yeah, it's just not fun. And having to find somewhere to empty them, that was my least favorite thing. We have a composting toilet, and it has like these containers that catches our pee. Sorry, TMI, but you gotta go.
You're taking one for the team every time, because I have not been. I did it once or twice.
Yeah.
And then like, this is on you, 'cause I'm sorry, I'd rather not.
So anyways, they fill up after usually about 2 days. We have a container, it fills up, so then we have to find somewhere to dump it, which we usually just go find like a public toilet somewhere, and we just carry our pee container in and dump it down the toilet and flush it. But it's just not fun. But that was my least favorite thing.
Good thing it's got a cap.
It does have a cap, and it's kind of discreet. Like, you can't really tell what it is unless you know. But yeah. Overall, though, I think it was a really successful first week. I think we figured a lot of things out, and we, as you mentioned, we met a lot of really cool people. We went to a lot of new places, and just the freedom that we had is, yeah.
It's worth it.
Totally worth it so far.
And our van has been so great. It hasn't failed on us.
Yep. Driven
we
us
love
1,200
our
miles.
van. It's an old van, but it's getting us where we need to go.
That's what matters.
As long as we don't go over 74.
Doing a good job.
Because I drove over 74 the other day, and it started vibrating. And we were thinking she was going to give out. And I learned I can't go over 74. I shouldn't be going over 70.
I keep it under. I never go over 65, honestly.
Yeah. Well, the speed limit was 70, and then I was going downhill.
You can go under.
But I was going downhill on a mountain, and so, like, you know, it just gets that momentum.
Fair.
So then, like, next thing I know, I'm going 74. I'm like, oh.
Well, I think that about wraps up this video, though, of week 1. But yeah, stay tuned for next week. Next week, we are actually tomorrow driving up to Illinois. We're going to visit my sister who lives right outside Chicago. And then while we're there, we're probably going to stay there visiting with family a few days. And then we're also going to probably kind of use that as a home base for a little bit and venture out. I do want to check out Chicago because I've never been. I want to check out like the Great Lakes area, the UP Upper Peninsula. I heard there's a lot of really pretty beautiful stuff up in that area. So yeah, it's going to be all new to us. So we're excited.
Lots to see.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. We appreciate you. And if you enjoyed this, definitely give us a thumbs up. Hit that like button. And if you're not already, go ahead and subscribe. Because we will be documenting our whole journey as we continue this. By the way, editing has been a challenge just because we've been so busy. So I'm going to try to keep these videos coming as quick as I can. But if I am not always on every Sunday like we originally planned, it is what it is. Just bear with me. But we're going to try to keep them editing. I'm going to try to keep editing them and keep them coming as quickly as we can, though. But that's it for now, guys. We appreciate y'all. Thank you. And until next time, stay wild. Bye, guys.
That is Mark in the wild. Oh my God. You're crazy, wild man.
This falls right now.
It looks pretty sturdy. Woo!
It is pretty sturdy.